Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy MumboElite here. Welcome back to another video. Usually we're talking about silver trading and the silver market. Today we're going to mix it up and we're going to talk about managers. So if you guys do enjoy the video, if you find it useful, smack the like button, subscribe if you're new, and comment down below, how is this method working for you? So first and foremost, with managers, you have kind of two different ways you can look these up, two different ways that go about it. First and foremost, we're going to start with kind of some of the top nations. France and Brazil are honestly my favorite because they fluctuate so much in price. We're going to look up how much French are going for right now. And as we see, it's taking most of the hour for these cards to sell for 1.6, which is kind of crazy because these cards at one point this year were already 3K plus. If not, in previous years were already extinct at 5K throughout the year. So in terms of an investment, if you wanted to go in and spam these and get a bunch of them for the current price, even if they fluctuate a few hundred coins up, that's a fantastic investment in bulk. And if they go crazy in price, I know we got a few French cards in this next promo coming up. You could see those rise even more, and as an investment would make good sense. But even if you're not wanting to do it as an investment, we know they go for that within the hour. We could sit at 1.4 and basically snipe anything under that. Now, you can do it through two different ways. You can do it right here and have these cards pop up through the transfer list. I'm currently unassigned, so I'm not going to be able to win any snipe. I have hundreds of silver commons, so any snipe that we would do or any card that pops up, I'm not actually able to win right now. But logic still applies. You snipe them for a few hundred under the buy now. You can sell them at the current price. If we sold it for 1,600, we'd make 200 coins on that card. We could lazy list a little bit for maybe 1,700, 1,800, especially if we list a few up, see if it sells at that. If prices rise, you could get a few more for that as well. That's just an easy way to win snipes. You could win bids the same way. You could just compare price and look for open bids. The way I would recommend doing it, though, is going to your club instead. So a lot of people know about clubs when it comes to players because you're just going to the transfer market and you're searching through players here. But you might be wondering, where do you get to managers? If you have a manager in your squad already, you're going to have to remove them. But if you have no manager in your squad, go over just to the bottom right corner. It's going to be blocked by my screen right now. It's right here, actually. Let me take the number off. 1 second. Where's the sub count at? Boom. So we're going to click on the manager. If we click into the manager, it's going to take us to our club where we can put in a manager. But if we go over to, we go to the transfer market, we can do the same kind of filter in here. So if I put in France again, and I put 1.4, we can set at 1.4 and essentially snipe anything that pops up under this price. Now, you might think this is something that would be extremely difficult to do. Depending on the price you're trying to win things at, it could be difficult. As you see, quite a few cards pop up pretty often under that buy now. And especially if it's worth at least a few thousand coins, we've had times where, if I go to my media real quick, we had managers that were going for 2,000 plus that we were able to snipe for very, very low. Let me go to, where's it at? Dude, we have so many screenshots of the bronzes and silvers that we've sold for crazy money. Which if you guys haven't seen those other videos in the trading playlist, highly recommend you take a look. But like, here's an example. We were selling Brazil and French managers for 2.3K the other day. We sniped one for 200. If we go here, we sniped one for 400, 250, 600, 200. We were just making crazy coins on these. And again, it's nothing crazy. Another nice thing about doing kind of managers like this instead of players is I've noticed there's not really bots on any of these trades. You might have people that are really quick at sniping and can get to the card faster than you, but it doesn't really feel like you're losing to bots. It feels like you're just losing to an individual person, which means if no one's on the current nation you're looking at, there's a really good chance you can win a majority of the cards. So if I go to Brazil and do a similar thing, let's see what Brazil's price is going for. If I go to 2,600, looks like they go to 2,600 by the end of the hour. But if I want to sell them within a few minutes, I could do that. Another thing to note, I didn't bring this up for the other managers. Pay attention to the names of the managers and what league is normally associated with them. For Camille, or however you say that name, it looks like the Women's French League is the standard one. But this Bundesliga league and the Serie A look kind of like odd one outs for these Brazil managers. What that could mean is additional value to the card. So we're going to look up Serie A Brazil. We're going to look up Bundesliga. If we'd snipe those either below the current buy now, or if we got them at the current buy now of the cheaper managers on the market, we could see that it's potentially even more additional money. As we see there, nothing under 3K, nothing under 3.2. There is no Prem. We looked up specifically Prem managers under 3.6. So if we sniped the Prem one, we could make an additional lot of coins on that. If we switched it to Serie A is going to be a little cheaper, but same thing kind of applies. There's a 2.8 snipe right there you could potentially pick up, but the other ones are like 2.9 and 3K plus. So it's just additional money on that one. Bundesliga one looks like it's relatively the same thing. A lot of 3.3s, 3.4s, to 3.2, but nothing under 3K. So if we pick up that other card and sell it on, most likely we'll get a pretty quick sale. So yeah, you could just go in and snipe under the buy now for each of these. You also can kind of pay attention to potential cards coming out. So for example, if we have, I don't know, USA is normally up. What's a good example of one that could potentially rise? We're going to do this kind of in real time. Let's do like Norway as example. Norway might currently be extremely cheap or relatively cheap, where it's usually maybe not going for any coins whatsoever. These are the ones that you want to pay attention to, even though they don't go for a ton. If we try to snipe one for 400 or under that, we might be making 100, 150 coins if we're sniping at 200, 250. But managers play a big deal in this too. If we find that the manager that's pretty common is Serie A, but the La Liga is more difficult, we could snipe these without a lot of people knowing and get that additional money for the card too. So let's take a look real quick. If we look at these, what are the main managers at 450? I see some Serie A, so that seems a little bit more common. But I'm not seeing that Bundesliga one. I'm not seeing La Liga. Looks like the La Liga one got bought. If we look at the market to see how much that would have went for, let's bump that up a little bit. 900, 1800. The cheapest is 1500 right now. And that one hasn't sold yet. So as you see, additional value can be applied to any of these nations. Now, you could potentially find an even better trading tip within this at the time where if you know, let's say La Liga managers are a certain price when it comes to the manager league consumable, so not the actual manager itself, but the consumable. Let's say La Liga manager consumables are 1,000 coins. And I know there's a nation I can pick up the managers for 150, 200. But if I apply it on that manager, maybe the manager now becomes 2K minimum. You could put both of those things together. Or for example, the Norway one right there. You apply those two together, win them for under 400 coins, win the La Liga for potentially 1,000, right? Put those together. And now instead of 1,400 being the value, you are now selling it at 1,800 potentially plus. So you could do things like that, find nice ones. The only caveat with that is that changes pretty quickly, so I won't go too crazy into it. You don't want to be caught holding the bag or spending too many coins and things like that, but that's a nice, easy way of getting a little bit extra out of it. Just out of curiosity, let's take a look at La Liga. How much does the league go for? We got 1,200 here. Yeah, they're not even selling for that. How about 1K? They're going for, wait, it reset. I was going to say, I'm like, they're not even going for 1,000. That's wild. If we go to 1,000 though on here, looks like they'll usually go by the end of the hour for 1K maybe. Could probably on bid get them for a little less. If we go to buy now, I would assume maybe like 800 coins by the 59th minute. Let's look again at a lower price. Can go to La Liga, 800. Yeah. It's like there's a few snipes we could get here. And like, this is another thing. This could be another trading tip on the side I can make another video on. But with consumables like this, a lot of times people aren't looking at these and you can snipe them for lower than the buy now relatively easily. But also, too, you could lazy list these in bulk and probably get an additional 100 to 200 coins on them as well. Because if people have a manager already, if they have a Norway manager or they have a top nation manager, they don't necessarily want to go buy a different manager and put it on the market. But if they want to change the league to La Liga, they can easily put it on the card for relatively cheap. You sell it at a premium to them. So that's essentially the method in a nutshell. If you guys have any particular questions on any part of that, let me know. I'm just kind of showing you different markets outside of just the silver one we normally do to show you just additional ways you can make coins very easily. That being said, with silvers, I do want to say one thing before we end the video. We had a marquee matchup today where we sold a ton of silvers that we club stocked for 150. We sold them for double, triple the coins. We had a lot of SBC solution cards we sold for 1,000 plus. We have a video where we explain kind of how we can track prices of daily SBCs through cheapest solutions on Footbin and Discords that people post screenshots. But would you guys like to see an additional silver video when it comes to like my philosophy on silver common club stocking, how I choose what to sell, when to sell, all that additional stuff? Because I can add more context. Because a lot of these cards right now, like I said, we're up in price. We had a bunch of silver supply, crashed the market. We're now picking cards up that we were selling for 300 plus easily for on bid for 150. And right now within the hour, we're selling a bunch for 250. So we're making 100 plus coins on each card, basically guaranteed right now. But not only that, we're restocking the ones we just sold back in the club as another investment where we'll sell them later, make a bunch of coins, and reinvest accordingly. So even though I sold a ton of cards, I sold hundreds of cards, I ended up putting even more hundreds back in my club. We're now officially top 100 in the world again for club value. This is something that I'm just going to repeat over and over and over again. As we sell more, we buy more. And at some point, we're basically going to have every silver common in the game, especially the low-end ones. And just rinsing and repeating this process just seems very easy to make coins this year. So again, if you'd like to see more videos on silvers, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I feel like there's a lot of kind of extra trading tips, investments, flips, things that maybe people want a little bit more clarity on. So let me know. If you did enjoy, again, smack the like button, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you next time. It's been your boy MumboElite. I'm out. God bless.